The first seizure happened during my brother's college graduation ceremony. One moment I was clapping as Jason crossed the stage. The next I was on the ground, convulsing while strangers screamed for help. I woke up in an ambulance with no memory of falling. Epilepsy, the ER doctor said after running tests. Severe. You'll need to see a neurologist immediately. I was 26, a graphic designer at a small marketing firm. The seizures came without warning, at work, at home, in the middle of grocery shopping. Within 2 months, I'd had 7 episodes. I couldn't drive. Couldn't work. Couldn't be alone for more than an hour without risking serious injury. Dr. Marcus Webb was the specialist they referred me to. He ran comprehensive tests over 3 weeks. EEGs, MRIs, blood work. The diagnosis was worse than we thought. Drug-resistant epilepsy with a lesion on my temporal lobe that was causing the seizures. We need to do surgery, Dr. Webb said, his expression grave. Remove the lesion. Without it, the medications won't work. You're having seizures every few days now. That number will only increase. The surgery was scheduled for 6 weeks out. In the meantime, I needed constant monitoring. I moved back into my parents' house because I couldn't safely live alone. My father, Richard Chin, was the director of research at Preston Pharmaceutical. He worked 80-hour weeks developing new drugs, traveling to conferences, publishing papers. My mother had passed away 3 years earlier, so it was just Dad, me, and Jason, except Jason had just moved to Boston for graduate school. This is temporary, Dad said when I moved my things into my childhood bedroom. You'll get the surgery, recover, and get back to your life. But his tone suggested I was an inconvenience. He'd been planning to attend Jason's graduate orientation, spend a week in Boston helping him settle in. My seizures had derailed that. The first time I had a seizure at home, Dad was in his study on a conference call. I came to on the kitchen floor, blood in my mouth from biting my tongue. He found me 20 minutes later. Why didn't you call for help? He asked, irritated. I was unconscious, Dad. He sighed. Well, you seem fine now. I need to finish this call. When I told him I needed someone home with me at all times until the surgery, he looked at me like I'd asked him to quit his job. Maya, I can't just stop working. Can't you stay in your room? Keep your phone nearby. Dr. Webb says I need supervision. If I have a seizure and fall the wrong way, you'll be fine. Just be careful. He hired a part-time nurse to check on me 3 times a week. The rest of the time I was alone, terrified every moment that I'd seize and crack my skull open on the hardwood floors. 2 weeks before surgery, I had a grand mal seizure that lasted 4 minutes. The nurse wasn't there. I came to on the bathroom floor, disoriented and bruised. When I called Dad at work, his assistant said he was in a meeting and couldn't be disturbed. I took an Uber to the hospital. Dr. Webb admitted me for observation. Where's your father? He asked. Working. Dr. Webb's jaw tightened. Maya, you had a 4-minute seizure. That's status epilepticus territory. You could have died. I know. Does your father understand the severity of your condition? I didn't answer. Dr. Webb kept me in the hospital for 3 days. My father visited once for 30 minutes between meetings. Build up. Jason called me while I was still in the hospital. Dad says you're doing okay. Just some routine checkups before surgery. I was silent for a moment. Is that what he told you? Yeah. He said you're handling everything really well, that the seizures are under control with medication. Jason, I'm in the hospital because I had a 4-minute seizure alone at home. The seizures aren't controlled. That's why I need brain surgery. Oh. Pause. Dad made it sound like everything was fine. He said you'd be back to normal after a minor procedure. It's not minor. They're removing part of my temporal lobe. Jesus, Maya. Why didn't you tell me? I did tell you. You said you were too busy with grad school orientation to talk. More silence. Then, well, Dad's the medical expert. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. That's when I realized. Dad was minimizing my condition to everyone. Making it sound manageable, routine, not serious. Because if it was serious, he'd have to acknowledge he was neglecting me. When I got home from the hospital, I started documenting everything. Every seizure with timestamps. Every time Dad was unavailable or dismissive. Every conversation where he downplayed my condition to relatives or colleagues. The surgery was scheduled for October 15th. 2 weeks before, Dad told me he'd be attending the annual medical research gala on October 20th. It's the biggest event of the year for Preston, he said. The CEO will be there, the board of directors. I'm presenting our department's latest research. That's 5 days after my brain surgery. You'll be in the hospital. They'll take care of you. I'll visit before I go to the gala. Dad, I'll need someone with me during recovery. Dr. Webb said. Maya, I can't miss this event. It's critical for my career. You'll be fine. The nurses will handle everything. I stared at him. You're choosing a party over being with me after brain surgery. It's not a party. It's a professional obligation. Don't be dramatic. Dramatic. The word hung between us like poison. The surgery happened on schedule. 7 hours of cutting into my brain to remove the lesion causing the seizures. I woke up confused, in pain, with half my head shaved and a line of staples across my skull. Dad visited for 20 minutes that evening. The doctors say it went well. That's great news. I'll check on you tomorrow before the gala. He didn't come the next day. Or the day after. On the 3rd day after surgery, a nurse said he'd called. He was too busy preparing for the company gala. On October 20th, I was still in the hospital, barely able to walk while my dad attended his fancy event. Later I found out what happened there. Dr. Marcus Webb, my surgeon, was also at the gala. He sat with the CEO of Preston Pharmaceuticals, my father, and some board members. Richard, congratulations on your daughter's recovery, Dr. Webb said. I performed the surgery myself. She's a remarkable young woman. Dad smiled. Thank you. It was just a minor procedure. She'll be back to normal soon. Dr. Webb frowned. Minor? I removed part of her temporal lobe. It was major brain surgery for drug-resistant epilepsy. The table went silent. Dad tried to fix it. I meant minor since it's over now. Dr. Webb asked, where is she now? At home resting, Dad said. Dr. Webb looked at him. No, she's still in the hospital. I saw her this morning. She's in pain and barely mobile. The CEO stared at Dad. You're here at a gala while your daughter is in the hospital 3 days after brain surgery? She's in good hands, Dad said quickly. I have work obligations. Dr. Webb set down his fork. Mr. Chin, your daughter lived alone with dangerous seizures. She had to take an Uber to the hospital after collapsing. I documented family neglect in her file. The CEO's face hardened. Is this true, Richard? Dad turned red. Her medical issues are private. Dr. Webb interrupted. You just called major brain surgery routine checkups in front of your boss. That's not privacy, that's lying. A board member asked. You documented neglect, doctor? Yes, Dr. Webb said. She was left alone despite needing supervision. Her father visited once for 30 minutes after she was hospitalized. The CEO looked furious. Richard, our company stands for care and compassion. You're the director of research, our public face. This behavior is unacceptable. Dad stammered. It's a personal matter. You made it public, the CEO snapped. He turned to Dr. Webb. Does she still need care? Yes. She'll need therapy, checkups, and cannot live alone. And her father? He said he's too busy with work. The CEO stood up. Richard, we need to talk. Now. They left the table. Later, Dr. Webb told me the talk lasted 15 minutes. When my dad came back, he looked 10 years older. The next morning, Dr. Webb visited my room. Maya, I spoke with your father last night, he said. My stomach dropped. What happened? He told people your surgery was minor. I corrected him, in front of his CEO and the board. I also mentioned the neglect I documented. I didn't mean to hurt him, but I couldn't sit quietly while he dismissed what you've been through. What did they say? I asked. The CEO was very angry. Your father's been warned before for caring more about work than people. This was the final straw. 2 days later, Dad came to see me. He looked tired and bitter. The board is investigating me because of your doctor, he said. No, I said quietly. Because of you. You called my brain surgery routine checkups. I was trying to keep things professional. I didn't want colleagues worrying. You didn't want them knowing you abandoned me. He flinched. Maya, I've worked for Preston for 20 years. This could destroy my career. I could have died alone on the kitchen floor. Multiple times. You're being overdramatic. Get out. Maya. Get out of my room. Now. He left. I didn't see him again for 3 weeks. Resolution. The investigation at Preston Pharmaceutical concluded that my father had demonstrated systematic neglect of family responsibilities and misrepresentation of personal circumstances to justify excessive work hours. Multiple employees reported that Dad had used family emergencies to miss important meetings, only to be seen at conferences or working late in his lab. The kicker: he'd claimed family emergency leave during my hospitalization, paid leave, while attending the gala and working on his research. Preston terminated his position as director of research. The official reason was violation of company ethics policies and fraudulent use of medical leave. His 20-year career, his publications, his reputation, gone. Jason called me furious. Dad lost his job because you complained to your doctor? I didn't complain. Dr. Webb heard Dad lie about my surgery at a gala and corrected him. You could have told Dr. Webb to stay out of it. Dad called brain surgery routine checkups while I was alone in the hospital. He chose a party over being with me after they cut into my skull. He's our father, Maya. You destroyed his career over being left alone for a few days. I had uncontrolled seizures for months because he refused to help me. I could have died. You're so selfish. Jason hung up. I haven't spoken to him since. Dad sent emails. First angry, then pleading, then coldly factual. He took a position at a smaller research company, significant pay cut, no prestige. His colleagues knew why he'd been terminated. His reputation in the industry was ruined. I hope you're satisfied, his last email read. You've destroyed everything I built. I deleted it. 6 months post-surgery I was seizure-free. Dr. Webb's work had been perfect. I moved into my own apartment, returned to work part-time, started rebuilding my life. Dr. Webb checked on me personally at every follow-up. How are you managing? Better. Alone but better. I want you to know, what I did at that gala wasn't revenge. It was advocacy. You deserve to have someone speak up for you. Thank you. Your father made choices. He prioritized his career over your life, then lied about it publicly. Those consequences are his own. Last month I ran into one of Dad's former colleagues at a coffee shop. She recognized me from photos in his office. Your father used to talk about you all the time, she said. Before everything happened. He was so proud. He had a strange way of showing it. I heard what really happened. The brain surgery, the neglect. We all thought you just had some minor health issues because that's what Richard told us. He lied to everyone. The worst part, when the board investigated, they found out he'd been using family emergency leave multiple times over the years. Always when he had conferences or important research deadlines. We don't think he actually had emergencies. We think he just wanted extra paid time off. I wasn't surprised. I'm 27 now. Seizure-free for 8 months. Living independently, working full-time, building a life where I don't have to document every medical crisis to prove it's real. My father lost his prestigious position, his reputation, his relationship with both his children. He made those choices, prioritizing work over my life, lying about my condition, fraudulently using medical leave. Dr. Webb simply told the truth at a gala. The consequences that followed were already there, waiting. Dad had built his career on a foundation of lies and neglect. It just took one doctor speaking up to make it all collapse. Some people might say I should have protected my father, kept quiet, handled it privately. But I was alone in the hospital recovering from brain surgery while he attended a party. I'd documented months of neglect, dangerous seizures, medical emergencies he ignored. Dr. Webb didn't destroy my father's career. My father did that himself. I just survived it.